Touchscreen configuration can be a lot of different things, but it can definitely be a means of socialization and communication between caregivers and care recipients. So let's dig right in. Here is my GrandCare system's touchscreen. There it is. It's configured right now with 8 buttons on the main menu. And I'll show you where we configure how many buttons and what they are in a little bit. And so let's go here to our care portal and let's open up the care menu. Remembering the care menu is many things having to do with just this particular GrandCare touchscreen. So we're going to focus now on the touchscreen button. And I'll open it up. There's tons of stuff going on here, so let's take them one at a time. First of all, we can show the touch screen here. That's the same functionality as you get right here when you click Show Touchscreen. It simply opens up a new instance of that touchscreen in emulation. And below that, we get our slideshow features. Now, the slideshow can be invoked at any time by touching the slideshow button on the touchscreen. Or you can just let the GrandCare sit idle for a while and eventually it will start cycling through the slideshow. So what's in the slideshow? Well, it can be different for each GrandCare user. And in this case, I've elected to have headline news, the weather forecast, word definitions, nostalgia, quotations, stock photos, today's schedule, and the monthly calendar. I've skipped trivia and spiritual offerings, and maybe for some people they find the news gives them anxiety. Maybe they don't want to see the news headlines. Maybe we'll take that out. And if you do a lot of your own photos, you might want to skip the stock photos, but I'll leave these here for now. And then when I've configured the slideshow the way I want it, I just have to click the Save Features button. And when we're done. So now that slideshow will reflect those new choices. So moving on, let's scroll down just a bit. These are messages that go on the crawling banner at the bottom of the touchscreen. Usually this one, help, I cannot find my way to the net, is something that shows when the system comes online and is not yet configured for the internet. But you can add your own custom ones if you like. Hello, I love you, Mom, etc., etc. Whatever you'd like, and you just save them here. And you can even control what time they appear. Below that is the favorite websites area. And you can see this GrandCare system has been configured with lots of websites. These are all custom. And what you do, how you do this is, first you select, where you would like this button to appear. Maybe I'll keep it in the favorites area. Or maybe I want to add it to the news area. So I'll call it MSNBC. If you like to watch MSNBC, maybe you want a button to link you right to their website. And what is their website, by the way? It doesn't hurt, actually, to just open up a new tab. Did I do that right? And yes, I do. MSNBC. And the best way to do this is to come to your browser's location window and just copy that URL right out of there. And then back to our care menu. We can just paste that URL right in there. And then we save it. And then there's one more thing that you might do or might not, and that is now the MSNBC link is now saved in the news button, but if I like, I can also put it right on the main menu by checking this button and saving again. So let's do that. I'll check that and we can save it. And there you go. And you can have as many of these favorite websites as you like, as many as you want. Here are some stock websites that we've included that people might like to have or choose from to appear on their GrandCare touchscreen. And if you don't like them, you can uncheck any ones that you don't want. Let's take a look at what we've done. So let's slide on over to our touchscreen. And I might need to refresh this to reflect our new button that we've put on, the MSNBC button. It's important to know that because I'm looking at this touchscreen in emulation, the behavior of this button will be different than that on the actual touchscreen. On the actual touchscreen, it will of course open up the MSNBC website right in the GrandCare's own browser. But if I were to click it here in emulation on my laptop, of course it just opens up a new tab in my browser, and it's not exactly the same experience. Let's go back to the Care menu. And let's talk about the touchscreen parameters. Now here's the slideshow speed. How often do you want the slide to change? Right now it's set to 30 seconds. Here's an important one, screen off between. Many GrandCare users do not like to leave appliances like GrandCare on all night while they're asleep. In some cases, the light from the touchscreen might be bothering them as well. So it can be handy here to say, I want to turn this to dim the screen, to darken the screen. Let's say I want that to happen between 10:30 p.m. and 6:30 a.m. And now when I save this, then the GrandCare touchscreen will go dark between those times. Of course, you can wake it up if you want to just by touching the screen and use it normally. And then if you leave it alone, it will go dark again until that 6:30 a.m. time is reached. Here's the speed of the banner crawl. Is adjustable. And here you can set a religious preference if you like. And if you'd like for GrandCare to announce the time, you would just check this box. And if you would like the GrandCare to chime on the hour, you can select that here. And if you want to have the GrandCare have a pin protected settings icon, right? So the settings icon will always be there, but do you want to have to enter a pin to get into it? And in this case, yes, and the pin is by default 1111, but of course you can change that to anything you want here. Now let's save these options. And now let's get to the good stuff. Here is the Manage Apps button. Now this is like a master control of which buttons appear on your GrandCare touchscreen. So right now you can see right here are all the buttons that I have on my GrandCare right now. And I can change the order in which they appear just by giving them a lower priority. The lower the number, the higher the priority, and the number 1 will be in the top left, and it goes left to right, top to bottom in numerical order here. Now if I want to see just what my options are here, I can choose one of these preset groups of buttons to start out with, but what I might do is just add everything and then just take away the things that I don't want. So here I'm going to add everything in here, and this is going to be easily 3 pages worth of buttons. And here we go. I can have all of these buttons if I like, and if there are any that I don't want, I can take them away. So maybe I don't want Smart Home, or I don't want About GrandCare, Maybe I do want assessments, maybe not brain exercises. I'll skip the music, messages, medication I don't need on the touch screen. I'll keep my assessments in the assessment button, so I don't need them out here. I don't need this education material or diabetes info, assessment. I do want the caregiving button because maybe I have on-site caregivers coming to this GrandCare user and I want them to be able to do that. And I'm not using caller ID, I don't need the calculator. And I do want my talking dog and my wellness and my news site. So now that I've chosen everything that I want, I can save this. And of course, this is where you really need to understand this particular GrandCare user. So in my mind, I was thinking that maybe this was somebody living in a private home who has some family caregivers who are participating in GrandCare, but who also has in-home caregivers, maybe non-medical caregivers, somebody that drops by every couple of days to make lunch and do a load of laundry or what have you, just to help out mom or dad. And it could be that that caregiver is going to be utilizing the care plan on the touch screen and maybe leaving a care note at the end of their shift. So I've left that on there. But of course, that's very different than a GrandCare user who may be still in a private home, but maybe their GrandCare is coming to them through a medical home care company, right? A visiting nurse is going to come and see them once a week to help them manage their chronic conditions, right? So they're definitely going to need their wellness button for their wellness readings, and that's a different kind of user. And that's both of those are different entirely from a user who's maybe got their GrandCare because it came with their apartment in their ritzy new independent living community, and that's very different. So you would want different buttons for each type of GrandCare user, and then further you would want to customize it just for that particular person to reflect their interests and so on. So it's a big world in here. So now that I've saved these, I can maybe close this up and slide on over to my touch screen, and if I refresh this, it should show me lots more buttons on here. I've got a lot going on, and if I want to get to the additional buttons, there's only 10 per page, so I can click this and get to the remaining 5. And that's the basics of configuring your touchscreen.